RARELIQUID is a YouTuber who talks about finance, investment banking, and getting his MBA. His popularity really skyrocketed after a video went viral where he talks about how he spent his investment banking bonus. Given his openness about his experiences in banking and how much money he's made and whatnot, it's no surprise that he's super transparent about the revenue that he earns from YouTube. In this video, we're gonna look at his YouTube financials and we're gonna discuss whether we would invest in his channel and at what price. I will say, I don't know Ben at all. I have watched his videos and I think he makes really useful, insightful, quality content. So if you're interested in finance, I would recommend going to check out his channel. And with that in mind, let's get into the first way we're gonna break down this investment opportunity, which would be looking at consolidated financials. In this first chart, I've taken Ben's numbers and I've consolidated them by year. So costs and revenue, and then of course, profitability. And you'll notice here that Ali Abdaal is on this chart too. And it's because I've done a video about Ali Abdaal and I'll link it up here to see whether we would invest in him. And I find it really helpful to start looking at different data points across YouTubers so we can get a sense of who's performing well relative to each other, which is really valuable in determining whether you're gonna invest in one YouTuber or another. But let's start looking at Ben's numbers. And the first thing that jumps out here for sure is that his revenue went up so significantly. So Ben's revenue is up 3x, 200%, even though his subs only went up 60%. So we have modest subscriber growth with significant revenue growth. And this got me thinking, and this is why you see the metric up here of revenue per subscriber. This is a completely made up metric. I don't think it holds any weight, but I am gonna start looking at this as I do more of these YouTubers so we can get an understanding of, in theory, this would be who could monetize their audience the best. I think what Ben's doing with his channel is really great, where he's optimizing for a particular group of people, which is people who are interested in getting into investment banking and finance. And he's creating resources for these people. And so I do think that Ben's channel will never get as big as Ali's. And you can see he's got a fraction of the subscribers, but what he has that's really advantageous over someone like Ali is his audience is looking for such a specific thing that if he can deliver it, he's gonna monetize really well. In marketing, we call this conversion rates. So Ben's conversion rates, his ability to get his audience to take the action that he wants them to, is likely going to be higher than Ali's. And it's not because of quality or anything like that necessarily. It's just because he's sitting in the middle of the bullseye. He's an authority and has trust in what people want to learn. So he's able to sell things really efficiently to that group of people. On the other hand, Ali's revenue numbers are just so much bigger. He's got a ton of trust and he's selling to just such a wider group of people. His conversion rate just can't be as high as Ben's because his audience is too broad. But you can see here that both are doing really well with their strategy. Ali, broad appeal, and he's still converting, whereas Ben's got a much smaller audience, but he's converting his audience really well. Side note, if I could get dollars per subscriber for other YouTubers, I'd be really interested in people like Daniel Schiffer and Peter McKinnon. I think Daniel Schiffer does an amazing job monetizing his audience. And I'd be really curious where his revenue numbers shake out because his sponsorship stuff looks expensive. And if all of these are ending up in the $1 to $2 range, then when you see Ben doing something like $2.25, he's doing just extremely well with his audience. Now let's talk a little bit more about Ben's revenue streams. And you can see in this table that Ben has laid out 2021 and 2022 broken out by specific revenue channels. And of course, because he's really diligent about this stuff, he's also created his own expectations for 2023. The first thing that jumps out is that Ben absolutely nails sponsorships and affiliates. He's doing really well. I think he's got 25% of the sponsorship and affiliate revenue that Ali Abdaal does, but on 3% of the subscriber base. The thing that really jumps out to me as an investor in all of this though, is his projection for new course revenue. So we saw in the last video that I did that Ali gets a ton of revenue from teaching, but he doesn't get a lot from self-hosted courses. I think he got 179,000. Ben's projection with, again, a fraction of the size of the audience is 145K in 2023. This is totally possible to hit, don't get me wrong. It's just such a big number and such a big driver of his growth that as an investor, I'm really gonna wanna see how this plays out, because if he can do better than this, then yeah, this could be a really valuable channel for him. On the other hand, it's tough to think that you're going to come out and be able to monetize 145,000 in courses while still maintaining these other channels. One thing that I really appreciate about Ben's approach is that he's realistic about a lot of these line items. So I talked about how courses is a big projection, but it's totally possible. This other stuff and the way that he's forecasting growth next year, he's not leaning too heavy into things that don't have a proven track record. And you can see things like YouTube ads are not projected to go up that much year over year. He's not going for these big viral videos that are going to pay him ad revenue. He's doubling down on teaching and using his authority to monetize his audience. As a side note, I find it very interesting that both Ben and Ali Abdaal are generating a significant portion of their revenue from courses and teaching. It makes me think about myself in the future. Like, if I were to monetize this, I'm not really thinking about doing courses. I mean, I was a professor at a top business school, and that seems like a great way to do teaching. So it makes me wonder, like, what other ways are out there in order to generate revenue? Or is this just one of the big ways that YouTubers monetize? Through doing courses. Let's talk a little bit about what's going well and what are our concerns as we wrap this up and get into final investment decision and price. Overall, I think Ben's running a nice, profitable business, and it's a testament to him. He's working hard and he's projecting to do 500K this year. I think he's smart and he's running his business the right way. As an investor, there would be two things that are of concern. The first is just how much work it takes to maintain this channel. So Ben mentioned that he did 114 videos the last 2 years. I'm creating videos. I know how much work goes into this. It's a ton of time, and I'm only trying to do one a week, let alone one every 3 days. So the first thing that comes to mind is just how much work will go into sustaining this revenue stream. My second concern is this. Ben was a top bucket analyst at a top bank, which is super impressive. But it also means that for now, he is absolutely the guy that people who are coming out of college want to look for advice. Worked at JP Morgan, was a top analyst, knows how to do all the modeling and all of that good stuff. So if you are going to learn from someone, he's the person to learn from. And again, I think he's doing a really nice job monetizing that trust into course revenue. But as Ben gets older and he moves farther away from investment banking, you have to wonder if this authority starts to decrease a bit over time. For example, there were some amazing analysts that I worked with in my time in investment banking who are now directors, managing directors. And there's just no way that college students would look up to these people or use their advice to get an analyst job. You're just too senior. So my other concern is Ben getting a little bit too senior to monetize the course revenue from people who are in college. These next few years will be critical because you'll start to see as he gets more senior, is there a new analyst who's coming in and taking over this type of role that Ben has right now, which is like really a mentor to many people who want to get into the space. So keeping everything in mind, the cash flows, the profitability, the work that goes into this, the opportunity cost, I'd value Ben's business right now at $1 million. I think this number goes up if he can prove that course revenue is really big. So if he makes over 145K and then he does it again next year, he might be onto something much bigger. I think there are probably also other revenue opportunities for Ben, like in-person teaching. I mean, you saw Ali Abdaal do these cohort courses, so that could be awesome for him. But otherwise, if his subscribers continue at this rate and his course revenue kind of stalls or goes slightly up, then I think $1 million is a very fair price for this type of business. On the other hand, this number goes way down if course revenue dries up or if subscribers stall or if Ben stops making videos, then of course, all this goes straight down because it's a wheel that's spinning right now. And I guess this is just the value for how fast and how quickly things are moving. Those are my thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and you want to see other YouTubers and they've shared their revenue, please let me know who they are in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you'll subscribe, like this, and I'll see you in the next one.